Maybe this is you, scrolling through your phone late at night, heart pounding, wondering why she doesn't text back. Maybe this feels familiar, the way your chest tightens when you see her name pop up on social media, knowing she's living her life, moving on, while you're left replaying every word, every moment, every mistake you think you made. You tell yourself you'll be okay, but deep down, you feel the ache. The emptiness of all the moments you wished she'd notice you, the silent prayers for her to realize what she lost. You remember the laughter, the way she used to look at you, the plans you built together in your mind. And now it's gone. And the worst part, you can't stop thinking, did I mean enough? Did I show her who I really am? Every memory is a ghost. Every memory is a knife twisting in a wound you can't reach. You feel powerless, trapped in the echo of her absence, questioning if she'll ever understand the weight of what she let go. What if I told you there's a way to turn this pain into the quiet power that makes her finally see, makes her regret everything? Would you want to know how? ChatGPT said, here's the truth most men never want to hear. The moment she drifts away, the first thing you feel is panic. You want to call, text, explain yourself, fix it, anything to get her back. And that's exactly where most men go wrong. Reacting from a place of need, from fear, only pushes her further. She doesn't respect desperation. She doesn't feel attraction from worry. Here's the part few men understand: your power isn't in chasing her, it's in holding your ground. Calmness, self-possession, and unshakable confidence. These are the core masculine truths that change everything. When you step back, when you stop reacting to every emotion she triggers in you, you're no longer a man she can take for granted. You become the kind of presence she remembers, the kind she can't ignore. It's not about games, tricks, or manipulation. It's about mastering yourself. It's about embracing the principle that your value isn't defined by her attention, and your strength isn't measured by her affection. You'll discover that when you embody this calm authority, she starts to feel the weight of what she lost, without you ever saying a single word. He sits alone in his apartment, the hum of the city outside fading into nothing. His phone rests face down on the table, and for a moment he's tempted to reach for it, to send just one message, one that might make her notice, make her come back. But he doesn't. He closes his eyes and feels the weight of every what if pressing against his chest. The memory hits him like a shadow across his skin. The way she laughed at something only he understood, the brush of her hand against his, the late night talks that once made the world feel infinite. And now it's quiet, too quiet. He wonders if she even thinks about him, if she even notices the absence he feels like a scar across his life. He pours a drink and listens to it pour, savoring the sound. There's clarity in the silence, a strange comfort in not reacting, not chasing. In that pause, he feels his own heartbeat, steady and unshakable, reminding him that he is still here, still whole, still worth more than a fleeting apology or a missed chance. And somewhere in the distance, he knows she will feel it too. The space he occupies, the strength he holds, and the weight of what she let go. Most men believe that if a woman pulls away, it's their job to fix it. They tell themselves, if I call, text, or chase her, I can win her back. And so they reach, clinging to every tiny signal, every small sign of attention, as if their worth depends on it. Here's the truth: chasing doesn't make her feel love. It makes her feel pressure. Desperation is invisible to her as attraction. Calmness is magnetic. Presence is what she notices. She didn't ghost you. You disappeared from yourself. Another belief is that being strong means suppressing emotion, pretending nothing hurts, acting like nothing matters. You've been told that showing pain is weakness. But here's the wake up call: true strength isn't pretending you're unshakable. It's feeling the pain, facing it, and letting it sharpen your value instead of dulling it. The man who lets himself feel, but doesn't act out of fear, owns his power. Your absence is louder than your apology. Finally, many men think that her attention equals validation, that her regret is something you have to engineer or manipulate. The reality is, regret comes naturally when a man steps into his own life, holds his standards, and refuses to compromise his worth for anyone. She can't take seriously the man who bends over backward to prove he's enough. But she will notice the man who doesn't need her to feel whole. She will regret losing you the moment you stop proving why she should stay. These aren't tricks. They aren't manipulations. They're truths that free you from the cycle of chasing, begging, and hoping. When you embrace them, your energy shifts, calm, unshakable, magnetic. You stop living for her acknowledgement and start living for your own life. And when you do, she will inevitably feel the weight of what she let slip through her fingers. You don't need to make her regret you. You simply need to step fully into yourself, to live with presence, confidence, and unwavering self-respect. The regret, when it comes, is a reflection of what you've built, not what you've lost. And that's a power no apology, no explanation, no chase can ever match. This is what the 1% Headman understands. His value isn't tied to anyone else's attention. He knows that the moment he begins seeking validation from her, he surrenders the quiet power that makes him magnetic. Most men think they have to prove themselves, to earn her notice, to chase until she finally decides they're worthy. The Headman sees through that illusion. He knows that real attraction, real respect, comes from presence, not pressure. He doesn't act out of fear. He doesn't beg. He doesn't compromise his life or standards for someone who can't appreciate him fully. This is how he leads, with presence, not pressure. While others are panicking over missed texts or overanalyzing every social post, he is grounded. He's busy building his life, sharpening his mind, strengthening his body, expanding his circle, and living in a way that can't be ignored. He doesn't fill his hours with trying to control her feelings because he knows he can only control himself. His calm, unshakable energy radiates silently, and that energy speaks louder than words ever could. The Headman embraces solitude without shame. He sits with his thoughts, feels the pain of loss, and transforms it into clarity. He understands that absence isn't emptiness. It's leverage, not for manipulation, but as a mirror to show her the weight of what she let slip away. While others scramble to fill silence with messages and explanations, he uses silence as a tool of integrity. He isn't punishing her, he's honoring himself. This is what separates him from 99% of men. He doesn't live for her reaction. He lives for his growth, his principles, his presence. He knows that the more he invests in himself, the more magnetic he becomes. She doesn't have to chase him. She can't help but notice the distance he holds, the standards he maintains, the life he commands. And that's when regret naturally follows. It isn't manufactured. It isn't forced. It arises because she sees a man who cannot be diminished, a man whose life is so full and aligned that she can no longer take him for granted. The 1% Headman doesn't need to win her back. He doesn't need to prove anything. He simply exists at the highest version of himself and the universe, and those around him respond accordingly. That is the mindset of a man who lets her regret everything, unwavering, unshakable, and fully alive. He's sitting alone, the world outside muted, when it hits him, a quiet, almost imperceptible shift. For months, he's been replaying memories, chasing ghosts, measuring his value by her absence. And suddenly, he feels that the truth has been under his own skin all along. He doesn't need her to validate him. He doesn't need her to see him, chase him, or even miss him. His worth isn't borrowed, it's his by birth, unshakable, undeniable. The room feels different now, lighter and sharper at the same time. He notices the steady rhythm of his own heartbeat, the strength in his posture, the clarity in his thoughts. All those nights of longing, of checking his phone, of wondering if he was enough, they were just shadows, illusions masking what he already carried inside: power, presence, and self-respect. He leans back, closes his eyes, and exhales a long-held breath. And in that silence, a new certainty rises. He remembers who he is, not as someone defined by her choices, but as a man who owns his own life. The craving, the fear, the longing, it melts into something sharp, something calm, something real. And he knows now, without a doubt, he will never settle for being anything less than he is. and that alone makes her regret everything. She will never feel your absence the way you once felt hers. She will never understand the gravity of what slipped through her fingers while you were busy chasing approval. But that doesn't matter anymore, because you've remembered something far more important. Your value was never dependent on her recognition. You've stepped back into your life, into your power, into the unshakable version of yourself that no one can take away. And in that quiet, unmovable presence, the truth becomes clear. The man she lost was never chasing her. He was always already whole,